you thought the drama surrounding Bill Hamilton's sudden and terrifying collapse was reaching its peak, you need to brace yourselves because we are just getting started. The halls of Garland Memorial Hospital are supposed to be a place of healing and recovery, but right now, they are serving as the backdrop for one of the most sinister and cold-blooded murder plots we have ever witnessed on this soap opera. We all know that Hayley Hamilton has been playing a very dangerous, very lethal game of cat and mouse with her husband. She has been slowly and methodically poisoning Bill, eagerly waiting to cash in on that massive $10 million life insurance policy. Her original master plan was to drag him off to St. Bart's, give him a lethal injection, and arrange for a quick cremation to destroy all the evidence before an autopsy could ever be performed. But fate and Caroline Lee's quick thinking threw a massive wrench into that wicked scheme when Bill collapsed right there in his law office. Now, Bill is trapped in a hospital bed, recovering from multiple heart attacks and a pacemaker surgery, and Hayley is growing incredibly desperate. And as we all know, a desperate Black widow is a careless Black. This brings us to the absolute cliffhanger of the week, a moment that is going to change the trajectory of this entire story. Let us set the scene. The hospital corridors are eerily quiet. Shanice Johnson, our dedicated and hardworking nurse who has already been through so much emotional turmoil lately, is simply doing her rounds. She is walking down an empty hallway, minding her own business, when she hears a voice echoing from the stairwell. It is Hayley Hamilton, and she is furiously whispering into her phone. We know she is talking to her cousin and co-conspirator, Randy Parker, complaining about how their foolproof plan has been completely derailed. But Shanice does not know that. What Shanice does hear, however, are words that would make anyone's blood run completely cold. She stands there, frozen in sheer terror, as she distinctly overhears Hayley muttering the phrases, "quick cremation" and "untraceable poison." Can you even believe the sheer audacity of this woman? Let us be real first. Who in their right mind discusses a literal murder plot involving untraceable poison in the middle of a public hospital hall? It just goes to show how arrogant and untouchable Hayley believes she is. She thinks she has outsmarted the doctors, outsmarted the Dupree family, and outsmarted Bill himself. But she made a fatal error, and Shanice was in the exact right place at the exact right time to catch it. For Shanice, hearing those words is a spine-chilling realization. You have to remember the psychological state our favorite nurse is currently in. She is still deeply grieving the tragic, heroic death of her best friend, Derek Baldwin. She has seen enough death and trauma to last a lifetime. The absolute last thing she can handle right now is knowing that a cold-blooded murder is actively taking place under her own hospital's roof. Trembling from head to toe, her heart pounding out of her chest, Shanice immediately runs to find the one person she trusts more than anyone else in the world, Ted Richardson. We have watched Ted and Shanice's beautiful romance blossom over these past few weeks. They just recently confessed their deep, profound love for one another. She knows Ted is a man of integrity, a brilliant doctor, and someone who will know exactly what to do. Shanice pulls Ted into a private room, completely visibly shaken, and tearfully recounts every single horrific word she just overheard in that empty corridor. She tells him about the quick cremation. She tells him about the untraceable poison. She tells him that Hayley Hamilton is actively trying to murder her husband. Watching Ted's reaction to this news is nothing short of spectacular. He is left in a state of utter, jaw-dropping shock. Ted has always known that Hayley was a manipulative gold digger. The entire Dupree and Richardson extended family knows that Hayley is a scheming opportunist who only married Bill for his wealth. But being a greedy social climber is one thing. Being a sociopathic murderer is an entirely different universe. The gravity of Shanice's confession hits Ted like a freight train. He realizes that Bill's sudden collapse, the unexplained heart attacks, the abnormal blood tests that Dr. Madison Montgomery had previously flagged it was never a natural medical. It was attempted murder, and the killer is currently sitting in the waiting room playing the role of the weeping, devoted wife. This revelation forces Ted into an incredibly agonizing dilemma, and it is a moral crossroads that is going to define his character for the rest of the season. As a medical professional and a law-abiding citizen, his immediate instinct is to pick up the phone, call Police Chief Elon Hawthorne or Detective Marcel Malone, and have Hayley arrested on the spot. But soap opera logic is never that simple. Ted has to carefully weigh the catastrophic consequences of blowing the whistle right this second. If he calls the cops based solely on hearsay from a nurse without a single shred of hard physical evidence, Hayley will simply deny it. She will twist the narrative, call Shanice crazy or jealous, and use her position as Bill's legal next of kin to transfer him to another facility where she can finish the job without interruption. Furthermore, Ted has to think about the massive, explosive impact this will have on the Dupree. The family is already walking on eggshells. Anita Dupree just beat breast cancer. Danny Dupree is spiraling out of control with guilt over her secret elevator hookup with Bill. Naomi Hawthorne is dealing with her devastating BRCA positive diagnosis. If a massive attempted murder scandal breaks out, the media circus will completely destroy the. Ted realizes that he cannot just throw a grenade into the mix without being absolutely certain he can take Hayley down. So he makes a highly controversial choice. He decides to keep the police out of it for now and launch his own secret underground medical investigation to protect Bill without rocking the Dupree family. I have to say, I think this is a massive mistake. Many fans might think Ted is being smart by playing it safe, but I strongly believe he is playing with fire. When you are dealing with a predator like Hayley, you do not wait around to gather clues while the victim is still in the predator's grasp. But from a storytelling perspective, this is absolute gold. Ted goes into full detective mode. He begins secretly pulling all of Bill's medical chart. He starts cross-referencing every single medication Bill has been prescribed, looking for any chemical interactions that could mimic a heart attack. He remembers that the poison Hayley mentioned is supposedly untraceable, which means standard toxicology screens at Garland Memorial are not going to catch it. Ted has to look for the invisible footprints the poison leaves behind on Bill's organs. This secret investigation opens up a terrifying chain of events because Ted must now actively doubt and monitor every single medication that enters Bill's room. He has to intercept IV bags, double-check pill dispensaries, and constantly hover around the ICU without making his suspicions obvious. He has to play a high-stakes game of chess with a woman who is actively trying to commit homicide. But the most dangerous part of this entire plot twist is not just Ted's investigation. It is the fact that Hayley is incredibly perceptive. She is a survivor, a hustler, and she has the survival instincts of a cornered rat. It will not take long for Hayley to sense that the energy in the hospital has drastically shifted. Hayley is going to notice that Shanice is suddenly avoiding eye contact, trembling when she enters Bill's room and acting overly guarded. Hayley is going to see Ted lingering a little too long near the nurse's station, asking a few too many questions about Bill's lab results. And when Hayley realizes that her private, deadly phone call might have been overheard, all hell is going to break loose. We already know how ruthless Hayley is. Just look at what she did to Dr. Leah Whitmore, effortlessly throwing her under the bus and framing her for Lynette Wise's disappearance just to throw Smitty off her trail. Hayley does not care who she has to destroy to get her $10 million. Once Hayley pieces together that Shanice is the weak link who holds the key to her downfall, she is going to launch a vicious, terrifying counterattack. She is ready to do absolutely anything to silence Shanice before the plot is fully exposed to the authorities or to Bill. I predict we are going to see Hayley resort to extreme psychological warfare, perhaps threatening Shanice's nursing license or even resorting to physical violence. Hayley might try to arrange an accident for Shanice, putting Ted in the horrifying position of having to protect the woman he loves from the very monster he is trying to investigate. The stakes have literally never been higher. What makes this upcoming clash so incredibly delicious is that Ted and Shanice are not actually alone in their suspicions, even if they don't realize it. Over at the country club and the law firm, the Dupree cousins Naomi, Chelsea, Kat, and Danny have already formed a united front to expose Hayley. They already suspect she is a Black Widow having a shady affair with Randy Parker. They already know her stories about Lynette Wise do not add up. If Ted and Shanice can somehow connect the dots and merge their medical evidence with the cousins' investigative snooping, they will form an unstoppable alliance that will finally bring Hayley Hamilton to her knees. But the clock is ticking, and Bill's life is hanging by the thinnest of threads. Every second Ted spends looking for proof is another second Hayley has to administer the final fatal. Will Ted be able to secure the evidence he needs to prove the poison exists? Will Shanice crack under the immense, terrifying pressure of Hayley's threat? And what will happen when Bill finally learns that his young, beautiful wife has been the architect of his physical destruction this entire time? The fallout is going to be of epic proportions, and I cannot wait to see every single second of it unfold. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think Ted is making the right call by keeping this a secret, or should he have called the cops immediately?